Hey guys, it's Spacer Sims, and we are back with more 9-Rip continuing Koyo's route. Um, yeah, we had a lot of fun shenanigans with Saya last time. So, anyway, sometime later, Koyo said he had some research to do and went off on his own, and so I decided to wander the building looking for Saya. I would also be looking for Saya. Ah, there he is. Oh, I love the fact that this bastard's here. I gingerly tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around. Oh, it's you. Do you need something from me? Everything. After I nodded, I handed him the phone he let me borrow. If you don't want Koyo to know about what we've been discussing, I think it's best you hold on to it for now. I took out the notebook from my pocket, jotted a note, and showed it to him. That will only cause more misunderstandings. Is that so? I would have never thought Koyo to be the jealous type. Saya gleefully laughed as he spoke before taking the smartphone back. Seeing that Koyo isn't here, was there anything you wanted to ask me about? Upon his prompting, I picked up my pen and began writing out my question. How can I get rid of the incubus completely? That will be quite difficult. In the dream, he is immortal. Thus, even if you harm him there, it will have no effect on his real body. I'm afraid you'll just have to wait until he gives up. Gives up, huh? Filled with despair at his unhelpful words, I wrote down what was on my mind. Will I be free of him if I go back to the mortal realm? Unfortunately, once he sets eyes on you, it doesn't matter where you go, even if you go back to the mortal realm. So that means unless this thing gives up on me, I'll be stuck having nightmares for the rest of my life? I cast my eyes downward at the depressing news as another employee approached Saya. Saya, I'm sorry for interrupting. It's about the Reika Misumi case. Upon hearing the words from his coworker, Saya glanced at me and quickly bowed his head. Apologies. Duty calls. I nodded back at him, and Saya and the other employee walked away from me. After Saya left, I sat on a bench in the courtyard and thought about the incubus. I remember Sayaka and I watching horror movies with demons in them before. I was pretty sure that in at least one of them there was an exorcist who fought the demons. Of course, I didn't have the power or knowledge to do that. But having to be scared every time I go to sleep is just too much. I sighed and looked up at the Khalifa flower swaying in the wind. At a Khalifa flower swaying in the wind. And here's the thing, an incubus is a sex demon, so you shouldn't be having nightmares, you should be having sex dreams. Like, what the fuck? Do I have to sell my soul to him to get the kinky dreams? Because, that seems... that actually is a really good recruitment plan, to be fair. I'm going to keep giving you nightmares until you sign away your soul to me, and then I'll give you sexy dreams, and then you're like, fine, Jesus. You know what I mean? I haven't slept in 2 weeks, you know? I'm just saying. That's kind of smart on a dream demon's, part. Because, you gotta know, humans are, you could go for a while without food and water, or minimal food and water, but sleep, that's gonna fuck you up, you know? So they're like, ha 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 ha, you can't sleep, and eventually you'll get so tired of these terrible dreams, you'll sign away your soul to me, then I'll give you the sexy dreams, and then I get a tasty, tasty soul, you know what I mean? Just saying. But I'm gonna need you to show yourself to me, because if you're a sexy sex demon, then I'll be like, alright, whatever. Whatever. I don't know. It doesn't take a lot. Okay. Look, if Saya was trying to sign me up for his sex demon services, I'd be like, okay. He doesn't even have to be a sex demon to have me sign up for his services. Whatever they might be, I'm signing up. Just give me the sheet. Where's the dotted line? What box do I check? Where do you, do a stamp? What, blood? What do you need me to do here? Anyway. Saya did say this flower has the power to purify evil. But when I fell asleep, the incubus was still able to attack me. Maybe it would have more of an effect if I attacked with it directly. Just then, one of the petals fell from the flower and landed directly in my lap. I plucked it up with my hand. I had to try it out. If I didn't do something, that would be the end of it. if I didn't do something, that would be the end of it. Well, not really. Well, okay. Maybe I should ask Saya. He seems really busy, though. Can I really leave the walls of HO and go confront the demon by myself? I shuddered with fear, but I didn't want to run away. Scary as it may be, I had to face it, both the incubus and my future. I do think it's really weird, though, like, because the whole thing really should be, like, dealing with Reika, and then we come here, and then it's like, oh, let's have Manami attack you here. Like, I understand maybe him popping in, like, oh, hey, like, whatever, like, to kind of introduce him, but it just seems really weird that, like, now he's a main antagonist in a way in Koyo's route where it doesn't make sense. You know? I'm not sure if it really makes sense for this bit, you know? I quickly stood up, my legs shaking. But I guess they didn't want to keep going with the whole Reika thing. They very well could have, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, she escalated, like... I mean, I get if they just keep doing the same thing over and over. She's stalking us and it's scary, and then she's stalking us and it's scary. It's like, it gets repetitive. But then she escalates and it gets a little more, and then we're and like, okay, we jumped in the way and he stabbed us in the throat, and then it's like, okay, and then we'll come down here and like, Reika's done with. Don't worry about that. And now we're gonna have Manami, and it's like, I get where we didn't want the Reika thing to get repetitive. But I also think them being like, yeah, anyway, not that anymore. Don't worry about it. We'll wrap that up. And then you have a whole other thing that it just seems really, like, disjointed at first. Like, I get coming here because Seiya has to heal me, whatever. I lost my voice. But then I just feel like this feels a little odd when it's like, now we have two, like, main antagonist kind of plots going on in this route. It's a little odd. I'm not complaining because I love this game and it's fine, but it's still one of those, like, I kind of question this. So I do question the way you plotted this out. Like, because I'm not sure if it makes sense, but whatever. Whatever. Still having a great time, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense, but... Whoa. I stepped outside, and with a gasp of admiration, I took in the sights of the city. When I imagined hell, I envisioned buildings made of human bones and rivers of blood, but it was nothing like that. Good to know. Much like the building where Seiya worked, hell had the look of an exotic city. Not to mention the loads of people that strode to and fro on the streets. But at a glance, the city may have looked normal, but the residents weren't at all. Some looked vaguely human, and others had large fangs or a single eye. A few even seemed contorted. The appearance of these creatures was far more chilling than the aesthetic of hell itself. Yeah, the aesthetic's pretty nice. As long as I have the Khalifa flowers, I should be all right. I have to find the incubus. You just stand outside HO. You don't have to even go that far. He will find you. And then you can also run away and get back into the building if need be. Wandering further away, where then you get lost and you can't find your way back while he's chasing you, sounds like a bad idea, in, like, running upstairs in a horror movie. But how would I find him? I've never seen an incubus. I only know that he has 2 horns. And that was the only information I had. I sighed at my lack of forethought. Yeah. At least she figured that out, though. A human-like creature with horns. Can I really find him? The people walking by didn't have horns. Well, some of them did. Some with 1, some with 3, some with 5. But even if I found someone with 2 horns, that didn't necessarily mean they were the one haunting my dreams. Maybe I should go back. Excuse me? Yeah, there you go. Like, look how like, this is our sex demon. Look at how adorable he is. I'm sorry. Like, you're adorable. He's too cute. Like, I can't take you seriously. Like, and I know everybody loves him. Like, I think he's one of, like, the top characters, but it's like, I am not. Look at the little cute little baby-faced ones. You're adorable. Like, they're not for me. Okay? So, but it's like, but you're this, I get the juxtaposition, and I gotta give him credit for that, being like, we're gonna make the slutty sex demon, instead of, like, Cupid Parasite, where you're like, okay, the slutty sex demon's actually hot guy, we're gonna make him the baby-faced adorable one, because, like, that's gonna fuck with you a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it definitely does. But, like, it's still like, I don't know if I... Anyway, I turned around to see a young man who was flagging me down to talk to me. He's got 2 horns. Yep. Can I ask you something? I hastily nodded back at him. Oh, now look, he is so full of shit. Why are you stopped here like that? That's why I came over here. I wonder if you might be in trouble or something. His voice grew increasingly small, so much so that I barely heard the last thing he said. Oh, he is so playing us. The horns may be the same, but his demeanor's totally different. She's so getting bamboozled! Alright, you know what? I'll give it to you that he's bamboozling us, and that's genius. Is it even worth asking him about the incubus? Get away from him! Get away from him is the right answer. Ooh, save file 6! Ask about the incubus and we die, I guarantee you. This is our last save file. Okay, get away from him. No, we ask about the incubus. Really? I feel like that's so stupid. That's so stupid. Oh, but you know what? Maybe if we get away from him, then we don't realize it's him, and we don't defeat him or whatever, and maybe now we shove the pedal in his face or some shit. Like, okay. I quickly took out my notepad and began to write. I'm looking for someone. He's got 2 horns, just like you. I stared at him as he read the paper, and then he spoke as though he was thinking. That wouldn't be a person, then. A demon? Or maybe some kind of spirit? Yeah, look at him. Look how sus this motherfucker looks. Hearing him say the word demon made my ears perk up. I'm looking for an incubus. I know he has 2 horns. I think I might know who you mean. No, I do. For sure. That incubus. I involuntarily leaned forward. But you don't really want me to tell you where he is, do you? In response to my vigorous, I was waiting for him to be like, that incubus, and was leaning in and go, is me. And get like, I was waiting for that jump scare, you know what I mean? Like, not really wouldn't be scary, but you know what I mean? I was waiting for that. In response to my vigorous nodding, he looked terribly frightened. He is so playing us right now, and it's ridiculous. His horns are also interesting because they look like he's wearing a fancy headpiece. No way. It's dangerous. I mean, he's very dangerous. If you were to go alone... Please, tell me where he is. I want to meet him. In that case, I'll take you to him. I'd be worried for you to go alone. I felt greatly reassured when he told me he could come along with me. He began walking away, and I followed after him. Oh, dear God, this is such a bad idea. How is this the right choice? Surrounded by half-decayed buildings, I couldn't help but wonder if anyone actually lived here. He is taking us to a dark, abandoned alley! Girl! We are running into the attic in this horror movie. I followed the young man as he weaved in between various alleys and back streets. He is getting us lost. He looked like a small, nervous animal, looking around back and forth. Oh, he's so good. As we reached the end of the alley, he turned around with a smile on his face. Ha! We're here. Despite what the boy said, there didn't seem to be anyone around. What are you looking at? He's right here. Right in front of your eyes. Look at his crazy eyes. A silent gasp escaped my throat as the young man peered into my face. Well. I never thought you'd come see me directly. Something about him was familiar. That's the incubus! I mean, to be fair to her, all we knew because, like, you know, the character, but, like, there was no way, especially when he's acting all, like, whatever, and, oh, no, I don't know. And you know, because it's Nobuhiko Okamoto doing this voice, he was probably doing the stutter, and like, oh, whatever, and now he's got turned on something else. You know there was probably 2 different tones of voice being used here. Even if it was anybody else, any other voice actor, you know they would have done too. It's just he's really good at doing, like, I've got a cute, adorable voice, and then I get sexy. You know what I mean? Like, she's way too good at that. As are a lot of voice actors, to be fair, but... This is my birthday, buddy! We have the same birthday! Nobuhiko Okamoto, not not Minami, but like, you know what I mean? So like, oh, good lord. Anyway. But to be fair, like, she wouldn't have known because he's going to come out acting all shy and awkward and adorable. And then now he's getting psycho, so. Surprised, I stepped back as the incubus narrowed his eyes and smirked. Oh, how I've longed to meet you, Spacey. I've been watching you since you were a child, but that pesky god kept getting in the way. Oh, that's creepy. That's creepy, sir. That's creepy baby-faced incubus. The fact that he'd been watching me since I was a child sent a chill down my spine. Did he just say protected by a god? Again, a god was being mentioned. Yeah, I'm the one who'll send you into the darkness, and now you're in hell. Yeah, whatever. I had previously been told by the spirit board that a god had spirited me away. Could they be the same god? More importantly, however, was what the demon had said about the god protecting me since I was a child. The protection didn't work in hell. Why, though, do we gotta have so many love interests in here with baby faces? Because like our little god boy is like cute and adorable, I'm pretty sure, too. You got Minami's got a little baby face. Hibiki, Hibiki actually just looks like teenage boy, so he's got teenage boy face. Okay, fine. But like everybody, why we got 3? That's too many, game. Too many. 1 is too many for me. I don't like the baby faces. 1s. Like 1 is too many when we have a game of like 4 to 5 love interests. Now we got 9, so they're like, let's just add 2 more. Too many. Too many. 1's enough. You get 1, game. You get 1. Hakuoki had like 37 love interests, and only 1 of them had a baby face. Is all I'm saying, okay? I'm just saying. Then if I went back to the mortal realm... see, then we didn't... That's information Seiya didn't have. You know, Seiya, you dropped the ball. Hey, Spacey. His heels clicked on the ground as he approached me, step by step. With each step he took toward me, I took a step back, keeping the distance between us. There's a wall behind me. Maybe I can use the Khalifa flower if he gets close enough. To look into your eyes and talk like this. I've been waiting for so long for this moment. I'm beside myself. Look, even my hands are trembling. You know, I mean... You being so intent on meeting me is kind of nice, but also, why you gotta be adorable? He wasn't lying. His expression wasn't one of madness, but rather, he seemed genuinely happy. I want your soul, of course, but maybe the 2 of us can play a little first. Saying that, he reached out his hand. Before he could grab me, I thrust the Khalifa flower into his chest. What if he's like, what are you doing? Immediately, I felt an electric shock. Damn! With a small burst of energy, the demon stumbled back. It worked. But it didn't seem to be enough to bring him down, just to stagger him. You should have picked a lot of those blooms. You should have been wearing a dress out of those. Maybe I should make a run for it. In a flash, I slipped past him and started to run. Then I felt someone grab my hand. Let's get out of here, Spacey. Koya? We can't beat him. Let's just hurry and escape. Well, if it isn't Koyo. As he spoke, the incubus moved in front of me. His eyes suddenly glowed red. Ugh, seriously? Don't look into his eyes. His eyes? Does something happen when they turn red? I was already looking at his eyes, but I felt fine. Perhaps it was because the incubus was looking directly at Koyo. You know, all I had to do was call your name and you looked directly at me. How dumb are you? Some knight in shining armor you turned out to be. How do you know my name? Please, I see everything she sees. Of course I know your name. Looks like you got a stalker too. Alright, so you know what? If that's the tie-in, where they're doing that, they're doing a parallel, and that's how this kind of makes sense with like, he's got Reika and I got Minami and we both got stalkers. Like, samesies, then okay, you know what? I'll take it. You know, because again, that leads back to what we were saying in the last part where there's like the parallels between Sena and Koyo and me and Sayaka and then Sayaka and Reika and now Reika and Minami are stalking Koyo. So like, there's a lot of like parallels going on. So like, this is the route of parallels and it's kind of actually interesting. So you know what? forget what I was saying earlier. Like, it doesn't really make sense that we were doing the Reika thing and now all of a sudden we're doing Minami. Like, what the fuck? But drawing the parallel there. All right, maybe I see what you're trying to do, and you know what? I can't be mad about it because there's a lot of parallels in this route. So adding a new one that I wasn't thinking about, see, because the ebbing and the flowing. It was flowing last part. Now it's totally ebbed. I got nothing. That was my brain power. But anyway. Koyo chuckled with a sneer and whispered softly to me, I can't move, so you go on ahead. There's no way I could do that. I tried to tell him that as I clasped my hand tightly around his. Two people who love each other, protecting each other, makes me sick. Makes me sick. But Spacey, if you want to stay with Koyo, then you might as well die too. A true devil, pinpointing exactly what to say to break me. That's not happening. What? I'm in the middle of talking. I'm right in the middle of talking. No, it's just... I'm not dead. What? Indeed, he's a living ghost. The chains cut their way across the ground. Dodging them at the last moment, the incubus stared straight behind us. Wait a minute. Are you telling me... he just said he's a living ghost. Are you telling me that Koyo has actually been not dead when Reika stabbed him? And that's why he hasn't gone back to his body? He's also in a coma? Are you telling me that for one fucking route we get to actually go back and be alive with our boyfriend? What? That he made it out alive, he's just been in a coma like us? I'm sorry. Is that where we're going? What the fuck? You can't just reveal that in the middle of this! Actually, it's a perfect place for the reveal, because you're like, oh my god, wait, whoa, back up, whoa, yeah, you're fighting a demon, whoa. Dodging them at the last moment, the incubus stared straight behind us. When she told me she was being haunted by an incubus, I had a feeling it might be you. It looks like I was right on the money, Minami. Seiya, don't get in my way. You know that even if you do that little trick with your eyes, it does not affect me. It's not like you to get flustered. You must really like this girl. He then took out a Khalifa flower and approached Koyo. A puff of black smoke burst out of Koyo's body and he blinked. Go now. We're facing Minami. I cannot protect you. He doesn't want to cause a big commotion either, so please return to an area with many people. You really think I'll let them go? As the incubus started to dash, Seiya's chains halted him, giving us a chance to escape. Seiya, thank you. I took Koyo's hand and the two of us ran away as fast as we could under the light of the red knot moon. Just showing that fucking background. If we made it this far, we should be good. When we finally arrived at a large street full of people, Koyo and I exhaled together. That was freaky. No demons here, right? You alright? Feeling okay? He didn't hurt you, did he? When I nodded back at him, Koyo flashed me a relieved smile. That's good. In that case, let's continue walking with the flow of people. He started to walk, but I only stood there and tilted my head. What's going on? Don't tell me. Is he messing with you? In some kind of psychological way? No, that's not it. I quickly shook my head. And then what is it? Koyo tilted his head and I... Are you really alive? Like, are you really alive? Yeah. Good, I'm glad she caught that. After letting go of his hand, I began to write in my notebook. Koyo, are you really alive? The silence was brutal. Why won't he just answer me? Then Koyo slowly began to speak. What can I say? I guess we got a lot to talk about on my end, too. Koyo stopped speaking before carefully glancing around. Let's walk and talk. It'd be a pain if that demon chased us all the way here. I nodded and took his hand as we started walking. Through our intertwined hands, it was as though we were saying we never wanted to be parted again. Just by merely holding hands, I could feel his anxiety. It made my heart race.
I heard about the incubus from Saya. He was reluctant to say anything at first, but when I told him you were gone, he explained what had been happening. I'm sorry I didn't notice.
Why is Koyo apologizing?
I had my hands full with Reika and you were worried, so you kept it quiet for me. I can't blame you for thinking that. I thought you were acting a little strange, but I still didn't notice. At the very least, I could have stayed with you while you were sleeping.
Koyo turned his gaze away from me, and I kept shaking my head over and over. That simply wasn't the case. Koyo hadn't done anything wrong. The real issue was that I was the one who failed to trust him. I kept everything inside.
So, I can't just leave you here like this. I'll be too worried about that thing coming after you again.
What does that mean? Koyo paused for a moment before letting out a big sigh.
Actually, I got some news from Saya about Reika. Apparently she's in the mortal realm. She's been cutting down any spirit she finds. She's like some kind of serial ghost slasher.
Our ghosts at the school and Sana better be fucking okay!
The knife that Saya let me borrow, the one that hurt you, at that time after I dropped the knife right then and there. When Saya rushed over to us, Reika and the knife were both gone. Somehow she must have gotten a hold of the knife in all the confusion. When I heard that, I immediately thought about Sana. Of all the ghosts I knew, he's the one I'm closest to. Knowing Reika, I figured she'd use him as a way to get to me.
In fact, Reika had made contact with Sana before. And Kureha, too.
No doubt she's plotting right now. It's possible the slashing she's been doing is all to test things out.
Hearing all this, I felt the color drain from my face. Okay, I'm sorry, I have never been more worried about dead people in my fucking life than I am right now. She better not touch Kureha or Sana. Hell, she better not touch Hibiki. She'll never get to Hibiki. He's in the mirror. She's not gonna. He's fine. Or Yui? What the fuck? Anyway, hearing all this, I felt the color drain from my face. Me too.
Of course, Saya knows all this, and they've got someone from HO watching over him, but either way, I can't say for sure he's safe.
I gently tugged on his arm. We should go, right away. I wasn't sure if he got my message, but he smiled back at me.
I thought I'd go back and leave you here for now to keep you safe, but if that demon's here, there's no real point.
He spoke with a serious look on his face.
I promised to protect you, Spacey. So let's go back to the mortal realm together.
Also, let's not gloss over the "are you alive" part.
The safest thing is for you to go back and wake up. There's no way that Reika could attack a living person.
Then I remembered something and took out my pen and notepad. Koyo, you're a living ghost, right? Then she knows I remembered something. That you just asked him, are you alive? And then he's like, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Anyway, so about Reika, and you're like, are you not dead? Koyo moaned and then awkwardly scratched his head.
I thought I'd tell you once everything calmed down. That demon sidetracked me and I ended up saying it.
Why did he keep quiet about it? I moved my mouth silently and lightly thumped his chest with my hand.
I have no idea what you're saying, but I can tell you're upset.
That's why I'm punching you.
I just found out too, and I was really surprised.
You didn't know? Okay, well that answers that. He's like, I didn't realize. I thought I've been dead, but you didn't know. Oh my god. Well, to be fair, we didn't really know either for a while. So, and a ghost can't tell that another one's a living ghost, so we didn't know we weren't dead either, right? So,
the day we first met Saya, the day you collapsed, and that's when he told me.
Well, didn't we meet? Oh. When we brought me to the school or whatever. When he showed up, because Koyo dropped me. That was a couple parts ago. Koyo dropped me off at my house. Reika was there. He showed up. Then Saya showed up. And then I was getting all woozy and whatever. And we brought me to the school. And that's okay.
He said, if you wake up, Reika will give up. I apparently got lucky and survived the fire. I'm asleep at the hospital, same as you.
Tears of joy threatened to spill from my eyes.
I'm so glad you're alive. But I want to make sure Santa crosses over. And that's why I want you to wake up before I do. I'm not exactly sure how to say this, but if you went back, I'd be able to move more freely here.
I know Koyo's right. I wanted to be by his side to support him, but that wasn't all. I gripped the pen and started writing again. We keep visiting him in the hospital, talking to him. I'll be lonely without you, Koyo, so I want you to find me. When you come back to life, we can always keep visiting him at the hospital. When I finished writing, I showed it to him, and he gave me a sad smile.
Of course. I found you the first time, remember? Finders keepers. Stop it! That's the nerdiest, most adorable thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, I found you the first. Stop it! And it's so fucking perfect! Oh, you bastards! Who wrote that? I don't know if I want to slap you or hug you. Slap you for making me almost want to cry. Oh my god, what the hell? That was a punch in the guts. Oh, in a good way, obviously. But it's so true because, like, he's the one that, well, he saw us die. He thinks he saw us die. But then he found us as a ghost. He's the first ghost to find us. And then he... Stop it. I need a minute. It's so ridiculously cute and romantic, and I can't even. Jesus Christ.
Finders keepers, huh? That brings back memories.
Spacey, thank you. Please wait for me.
Ooh. Oh, okay. All right. I was like, okay. Chapter 9 already. Okay, so I wonder then if one of the endings will be he comes back to life and then, like, we're like, oh, okay, great, and we get to be together, and another one is we're just waiting for him, but we can still talk because he can still call us as Mary Mary, you know what I mean? And, like, so we just go and we're just visiting him in the hospital waiting for him to come back type of a thing. You know what I mean? Because that kind of would set into, us visiting him in the hospital and him just calling us every once in a while would be similar to I pop in the mirror to see Hibiki, or, I can see and speak to Kureha, but I can't actually touch him or anything. And I get to see Sena once a year type of a thing, where you're like, well, I mean, it kind of sucks, it kind of hurts, it's kind of pretty, but it still kind of sucks, you know what I mean? Actually, Hibiki's would have been I saw him that one fucking time because he crossed over and he could visit me once from heaven. That was more the sucky kind of ending for him. I closed my eyes and prayed. Please let me return to my body. I tried hard to imagine my body sleeping in the hospital room. I breathed in deeply and slowly opened my eyes. I'm sure if I open my eyes now, the first thing I see will be the ceiling of the hospital room.
Did you really think it was going to be that easy to wake up?
I was really trying, though. I tried wishing and praying to make it happen, but it seemed like getting back to my body wouldn't be so simple after all.
I guess that makes sense. If all you had to do was wish for it, you'd probably already be back.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, there's no way we could go back this early in his chapter 9, because also I don't think we've had enough CGs. So, right. I've been thinking maybe I should try and sleep. I wrote that down on the paper, and Koyo merely stared at it.
But what if the incubus attacks you again? No, wait, you can't sleep. I'm glad to see that you two are safe.
Along with the sound of footsteps, I heard a voice and turned to face it. Seiya was standing there with a tired, bitter smile on his face.
Seiya, welcome back. You really saved us back there. So, what happened to that demon?
I've pinned him down, so I don't think he'll be able to move for some time, but his attachment to you is very strong. It's possible he may give up after that, but I rather doubt it. I'm terribly sorry. Seiya bowed his head low to me. He seemed to be more upset than I was. After all, this whole thing had been my fault for leaving the center on my own. I understand your suffering, and I respect your desire to go and do something about it. I'm quite envious of your strength. Huh? When he said that, for a moment, Seiya's face darkened. I blinked and his usual mysterious smile returned. You've done well. Hearing him say that to me, I was again filled with regret for the trouble I'd caused. So, what will you do now?
I think it's best for Spacey to return to her own body. Well, that seems easier said than done.
Oh, it's quite easy. But you don't really want to go back, do you? You're worried about Koyo, right?
Seriously?
Worried that he might be upset, I let my gaze wander away from him.
In that case, I guess it can't be helped. Let's go back to the mortal realm. I can protect you there.
Even though he's doing it for me, I worried that I was causing him nothing but trouble and felt a heavy weight on my heart. You don't have to look so down. Koyo's quite happy about it.
Huh? You can be really annoying, you know that?
Oh, but no denial. I must be onto something. Seiya looked at Koyo as he said that. Koyo, I'm happy. I wonder.
I mean, I'm happy, but I wonder. I don't know.
It's I wonder.
Okay.
Was he really happy? He spoke so clearly and firmly to me to go back to my body. Koyo must think I'm such a bother to him, right?
I promise I'm gonna protect you, so don't look so down, okay?
Actually, that got us no interesting. Is this another? Oh, this is a godly end. Sometimes I feel like she does the godly end first, and other times she does the heavenly end first. Because Kureha, right, I think she did the god. I'm going back to the guide for a hot second. She did the godly end first, and then the heavenly end. But the heavenly end was, to me, the better one. Because that was the one we died and got to be with him. And Hibiki, it was the heavenly end first, then the godly end. And the godly end doesn't have as many affection points. The heavenly end is the best of the two endings. Okay. So she must have liked in Koyo's route. It's very bizarre. Like she flips back and forth. But I think in Kureha's, she specifically said she did the godly end and then the heavenly end because she thought the godly end was a better ending than the heavenly end. And I feel like the ends are subjective. But it's very weird that she's flip-flopping back and forth. Because, I kind of understand that in one sense, okay, if you prefer, but now you're flipping back and forth because, Sena, you also got the heavenly end first. And to be fair, I've agreed with most of them except for the Kureha one. I'd rather get to be with my ghost boyfriend than just get to see him. So to me, the heavenly end was the best one, and that's the one where we died. So she thinks this one's better? Curious about that. Anyway. Perhaps it's because of his perpetually gloomy expression. I seem to have misread him. Then Seiya quickly put an end to our conversation with the clap of his hands. Well then, please allow me to confirm. While we would prefer that you stay here until we can capture and detain Reika Misumi, you plan to return to the mortal realm of your own volition. Is that correct? I stole a glance at Koyo and nodded. Then allow me to guide you back. We have a train waiting for you. As you're not regular citizens of Hell, this train is reserved exclusively for you. We then headed for the train that was waiting for us.
So this is Kisaragi Station. Have you ever heard of it?
After I nodded to him, I took a look around. I guess the legends about this place really are true. Sayaka will be so thrilled when I tell her about it.
This is how you were brought to Hell.
In the mortal realm, it's regarded as a kind of occult piece of fiction, but as you can see, it is quite real. This is one of the terminals that connect the mortal realm with the hidden realm. Kisaragi Station, a station located in Hell. There are a few other stations as well, all of which connect the hidden realm and the mortal realm. I wasn't as interested in the occult as Sayaka, but I found myself wanting to hear more. But now's not the time for that.
Now, before you return, allow me to give you this.
The smartphone. I looked at Seiya, wanting to tell him something. As if to say he already understood, he winked at me from an angle Koyo couldn't see. Not many people are going to be able to see. You see a third of your eye.
This will allow us to communicate with each other. Since Reika Misumi is looking for you, I think it best that we have some way to communicate with one another. In addition, I'd like to give you this too.
Seeing the items Seiya took out, my body suddenly stiffened.
Reika Misumi is not one who can be reasoned with.
Koyo stared at the knife, then shifted his gaze back to Seiya.
I don't need the knife. I have no intention of killing Reika. I want to be someone that protects, not someone that destroys. A knife isn't a tool to protect. I learned that lesson already.
With that, his eyes turned towards me.
I'll kill her!
Elated with Koyo's reply, a smile naturally appeared on my face.
Excellent.
Huh? Koyo and I looked at each other, puzzled, while Seiya shrugged and shook his head.
Correct. You don't need a weapon. Anyway, I'm so pleased that you agree. You're such an asshole. What would you have done if I had accepted it?
Seiya didn't answer and instead smiled lightly at me.
Instead of the knife, allow me to give this to the two of you.
As he spoke, Seiya took a small bag out from his pocket.
A bag of Khalifa flowers. Be sure to keep them with you in case something happens. This time, I swear on H.O.'s honor, I will protect you.
Yeah, we're counting on you. We gratefully accepted the small bag and started walking toward the train. It would take us back to the mortal realm. Clank, clank, clank. Koyo and I jostled along with the familiar sounds and vibrations of the train, our shoulders touching as we moved along. Because this train was chartered just for us, we were the only two on the train. From the inside, the train appeared no different than the one I was used to riding. I wonder when the scenery out the window will change.
Pretty weird train, huh? Looks just like the one that runs through Narimigahama.
I nodded in agreement.
It's pretty common in ghost stories, right? The whole, I was riding what looked like a normal train, but it took me somewhere strange.
I remember hearing rumors about Kisaragi Station. How did they go again? I really should have paid closer attention to Sayaka's stories.
According to Seiya, the interior of the train changes based on those who are riding it. Since we'll get off at Narimigahama Station, took the form of the train that runs on that line.
I see. So that's why it looks familiar. Ever since becoming a living ghost, I've had so many strange experiences. The ones in hell were the most intense by far, however, I hope this frees me from the threat of that terrible incubus. All I could do was place my faith in the God that had been protecting me since childhood. If he appears in my dreams again, I'll just have to keep my heart steady and fight him. Just as outside the window darkened, the lights inside the train began to go out one by one.
We'll be entering the mortal realm soon. If you're scared, hold my hand.
In the growing darkness, I felt only the warmth of his hand. Then, in an instant, I was bathed in the white light of the shining sun. We returned to the mortal realm. When we got off the train, I stepped into a scene that filled me with nostalgia. I finally made it back. Well, somewhat. I still hadn't made it back to my body, so I didn't have time to relax just yet, basically. Enveloped by the warm light of the sun, so different than the cool red glow of hell, I felt moved nearly to tears. I don't have time to be this emotional.
Santa's normally near the station at this time of day. Let's go look for him.
After nodding in return, we began to look for him, but if he dies, I swear to God, I'm not going to be able to, handle it. Terrybird. Santa's behavior pattern seemed to be different than before, and he wasn't there. Uh-oh. Eventually, we found him near the play structure at the park by the sea.
Ah,
Koyo! And Spacey, you're here too. Oh, he remembered my name just now. Thank goodness you made it back okay. I've been worried sick ever since you two went to hell.
Sena, you remembered?
Yes, I remembered. You confronted your stalker and she ended up getting hurt. I also remembered everything up until now as well. It's all thanks to you, Koyo. And you too, Spacey. Me? I think what made the difference was that Koyo came to see me every single day. And when I saw her curled up in pain, collapsed on the floor, I remembered. That stabbing pain, the pain of losing consciousness. I too had felt that pain.
So it was like some kind of shock treatment?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Thank you both so much, and I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. I'm just glad you remembered. Sena scratched his head with a bitter smile. Anyway, I'm just glad you're all right. Since you're back, does that mean you've gotten better? About that. Speaking of which, Spacey, you've been rather quiet, haven't you?
Well, I mean, the two of you were talking, like, it'd be rude of me to interrupt, but also, Sensing something strange about the way I was acting, Sena tilted his head. I took out the notepad and pen from my pocket when Koyo stopped me. Koyo? Spacey, she's not able to talk right now.
What?
Because of what happened. There's a chance she'll be cured. For now, we've been talking by writing to each other.
Before I could write anything, he looked down. If I had noticed things sooner, I might have been able to catch you.
That's not true.
I quickly shook my head to deny it.
If anyone's responsible here, it's me. I became obsessed with trying to kill Reika. Couldn't see what was going on around me, and I ended up hurting her.
Unable to stop myself, I covered Koyo's lips with my index finger and shook my head at him. Koyo and Sena both smiled at the gesture. I let out a small sigh and pulled my hand back.
Sena, there's something I want to ask you. Have you seen Reika?
No, I haven't seen her since.
He hasn't seen her? Is that so? Apparently there were members of HO watching over you, so maybe she's been avoiding you. I come to think of it, I was so worried about Sena, I wonder if she went after Kureha.
I nodded at Koyo and tried to signal him with my eyes. Let's head to the school.
Yeah, we gotta protect Kureha. Let's hurry.
The two of us began walking. I'm sorry, buddy. Do you need a break? It's also very dark. Hold on. Oh, wait. I'll help too. Frantically, Sena called out to us. Okay, hold on for just a second. I gotta turn on my light because it's getting dark because, it's like 5:30. It's like not even 5. It's probably like 5 o'clock. Barely 5 o'clock. I'm sorry. Was it so dark? You need a poopy break? She's a good boy. Thank you. All right, there you go. And I turned the light on so it's not so dark. It gets very dark now because we folded back. And folded back means it's already getting dark in the fall and fuck you, there's no sun! Which is okay. It's better than spring ahead, to be fair. I know, fall back means it's dark all the fucking time, but it also means that the other night when we were going to bed and it was like 2 a.m. and I was like, okay, cover up the bird. And I walk up the stairs and I look at my phone and it went 1:01 and I went, what the fuck? Oh, right, clocks fell back. It's very disjointed for a split second. And then that means we got a whole extra hour of sleep and it was like, yay! I know. It was like really awesome because we gained an hour, but for like spring ahead is stupid because then you're like, it's 8 o'clock. Fuck. And then you have to go to work 1 hour sooner. It's stupid. Anyway. Frantically, Sena called out to us. Did I just read that? I don't know all the details of the situation, but I know that Reika's dangerous. I know you're worried about me, Koyo, but I'm worried about you too. I could feel the hesitation and conflict through Koyo's hand.
And don't worry about me. You focus on crossing over. Reika's my problem.
I went with Koyo to the school, but I felt the urge to stay with Sena. He looked depressed. I followed behind him with slightly more hesitation in my steps. I'd be like gesturing, like finger over your lips, like shh, and then like come with us. And then Sena would sneak behind us and like Koyo would never know until we got to the school and he'd be like, hey! And you'd be like, ha 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 ha! Shenanigans. Because, like, I feel like we should take her.
take her. We should take Sana. What if fucking Reika goes after him now that we've seen him? He's fine now, but he's not going to be fine in 5 minutes. We just left him alone. I don't like it. As soon as we arrived, Yui gave us some shocking information. Kureha had been injured. At the nurse's office. There, we found Kureha resting. His face was paler than usual. Don't you know we're gonna kill that bitch? She hurt our precious cinnamon bun. Nobody cuts up the cinnamon bun. Spacey doesn't share cinnamon buns. You don't cut up the cinnamon bun. You horrible bitch. Oh. No, don't tell me. Did Reika do this to you? Oh, it was definitely that girl. She cut me with a knife. So this was Reika's fault too. I'm so sorry for getting you wrapped up in this. Don't worry about it. She just grazed my arm. It'll be alright if I just rest up a bit. I think she knows that you and I are friends. That's why she targeted you. That's not true. She was here trying to harm each and every one of the ghosts in this school. Kureha intervened to stop her, but... Even if she's a ghost, she's still a lady after all. Would have been right to fight her with a sword. You know, Kureha! On one hand, I appreciate that sentiment. Like, good for you, sweet cheeks. But on the other hand, the bitch has a knife and she's killing people, so I'm gonna need you to take that and be like, fuck it, equal opportunity, I'm gonna kill this bitch. Just saying. So, like, on one hand, it's very polite of you. But on the other hand, we're gonna go feminist with this and be like, if you would fight a man who was trying to kill ghosts with a knife, then you should fight the woman who was trying. I'm just saying. But also, aren't you sweet? Aren't you sweet? Those antiquated views of yours. I mean, he is from 1949, to be fair. But at the same time, at least your antiquated views aren't, like, really antiquated. You know what I'm saying? Your views are, like, they're in a good way. You know? Like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not gonna fight a woman with a sword. That seems a little crazy. But that bitch has a knife, so, like, I'm thinking we need to, like, get with the times. And, like, if it were a man doing it, you do it. So I'm just saying. You know. Just give and take here, okay? You know? Yui came rushing to the scene and thankfully was able to save me. Apparently, Yui felt no hesitation in pulling the sword from his scabbard and attacking Reika with it. Good for her! Actually, you know what? I actually find it even funnier, though. I actually like that. You know what? I like this better. That Kureha was like, whoa, I couldn't attack her with a sword. And Yui's like, fuck that, I will. Yes. Yes. I almost had her too, but she managed to get away. She almost beat her? Yui, right? Are you some kind of sword fighter in life? No, of course not. I merely took a few lessons. That doesn't look like someone who'd merely taken a few lessons. Whoa. I guess Yui has some pretty incredible skills. This is so great. There's something wrong with that girl. It was like she wanted to kill me. I had no choice. I had to be a little rough with her. Good for you! Quite a few ghosts in the school were attacked by her. All the while, she kept repeating the same words over and over. If you want to hate someone, hate that bitch Spacey. My name? I think she's trying to get everyone to hate you and mentally break you down. I might have caused some of the spirits here to blame you. My body shuddered with an abnormal amount of anger. I think it best if you stay away, Koyo. If she doesn't have a place to go, she might end up becoming a wraith. Perhaps she thinks if that happens, Koyo will come back to her. Ugh, makes me sick. Kind of love that causes one to harm others. It's nothing but evil. A wraith? How horrifying. Lost totally in ego and delusion. A mad spirit cursed to walk the earth forever. A chill ran down my spine. I'd been scared many times before, but this might have been the first time it was to this extent. I think it's really only a matter of time before she becomes a wraith. And that would be a problem. She's already quite strong now, but if she were to grow even stronger...
The look on Koyo's face was one of pain and grief. Yui lowered her face and began to murmur with great difficulty. I know the guilt that comes along with someone harming others for your sake. I couldn't do anything either. I could only watch. By the time I realized it, it was over. Yui? Koyo, don't let what happened to me happen to you. There's still time. It's still far too early for you to have regrets. Koyo tightly clenched his fists. He had said that he had no intention of killing Reika, and yet I felt nervous and touched his shoulder.
Don't worry, I'm not planning to do what you're thinking. But I'm still trying to figure out how to protect everyone.
I'll help you.
I was caught off guard last time, but she won't get so lucky again. What are you saying? You should rest, Kureha. And this is my problem. But thank you for offering to help.
Again, just like with Sena, Koyo hadn't changed at all. He was still trying to carry the weight of everything all on his own. I don't know if we're gonna actually get our end in this part. Because, it's almost an hour. We'll just do another little scene and we'll see. And if it starts to feel like we're getting to the climax, we'll see what happens. As we searched for Reika, we decided to walk around the city for a while. We were able to speak to some of the spirits that Reika had attacked, but she still eluded us. Okay, well, come on. At my suggestion, we took a break on the outskirts of a nearby shrine. The silence is painful. After leaving the school, Koyo seemed to be deep in thought. He rarely spoke on the way, and when spoken to, his replies were absent-minded. I should say something. How could you have been speaking to him? You're writing on the notepad, and he's like, uh-huh. You know what I mean? I wrote on my notepad, but tore it up. This wasn't right. Then Koyo let out a small laugh. As I was writing frantically with my pen, Koyo peeped over with a wry smile.
What? You trying to think of something clever to say to me?
Yeah, but... Feeling apologetic, I nodded slightly.
Thanks, but I'm fine. It's not like I'm feeling down or anything.
Koyo took my hand that was holding the pen and wrapped it around his.
I'm just feeling a little lost. I'm not sure how to face her.
I gave his hand a gentle squeeze. With my free hand, I began writing to him slowly. Koyo, do you remember what you said to me when I was feeling lost about what I should do with my future? You said I should start by trying to learn about medicine if I wanted to talk to my mother.
I think I know where you're going with this. But if I'm gonna face Reika...
I nodded, and Koyo continued to speak as though he was deep in thought.
I shouldn't look at her as though she's the enemy. I should try to see things from her side.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like the way you're going with this. I should look at her side. I was nice to you, so I gave you the wrong idea, and it's totally okay that you stalked me and tried to kill me. Yeah, no, I don't know. She's, you know what I mean? And just being how I'm sorry I gave you the wrong impression is not going to make her go, that's all I wanted, I'm okay now, and then cry. That's not how you fix crazy people. Okay, that's not how you fix people that are, literally so mentally unstable that they try to kill you. That's not gonna work. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. Anyway.
Maybe there's a different future where nobody has to get hurt.
It's a little late for that.
I always saw and treated her as though there was something wrong with her.
'Cause there is! That made sense, and I began to worry if I had said something unreasonable. Koyo seemed to contemplate my suggestion very seriously. I closed my notepad and placed my pen down. That was the only advice I could give him. All I could do now was wait and see how Koyo responded to it. After a long silence, Koyo let out a big sigh. Then he looked up to the sky as though some of his worries had been cleared.
If I want to make this future better, perhaps I need to talk with her.
When I nodded enthusiastically, he looked back at me, a troubled smile on his face. Again, this is not some girl who's just angry and you're like, why are you angry? And she's like, because you lied to me. And you're like, oh, okay. Where it's a misunderstanding. Like, no, I always treated her like there was something wrong with her. There is something wrong with her. She fucking stalked you. And at this point, it's too late. She's literally flown off the deep end. So, like, I don't think that there's like a let's have a comment. I'm sorry if like me talking to you and treating you like a person made you think I was in love with you, but I'm not in love with you. And she's, that's all I needed to hear. Oh my god, I'm totally fine now. No, stalking and attempted murder. Like, I'm just saying. No, they're like, I don't like that they're trying to make it seem like, oh, you just talk to people like this. No, these are things for psychologists and police officers and like prison wardens, okay? Not for normal people, okay? Don't try to talk to your stalker who tried to kill you. Just don't. No. Good lord. But when it comes to luring her out, I think you'll be against it. What do you mean? It's just like Saya said. We're surrounded by HO officials. Which means Reika's gonna keep her distance. She's not gonna come near us. Which is why I need to call Saya, ask him to take the guards off me, and distance myself from you. I understand what he's trying to say, but Reika's gonna be very careful. If I'm not completely alone, I doubt she'll try to make contact. Then Koyo took out a jet black smartphone and began tapping away on it. I'll call you and keep the line connected for the times when I'm alone. Would that make you feel a little better? He's so considerate. Trust me. It's too dangerous. I trust you. I trust you should be the right answer, so since we're going down the wrong path, yeah, it's too dangerous. Because, we're not going down the wrong path. We're going down the less affectionate path, so. It was too dangerous. I shook my head to tell him these things. I don't want to make you worry. That was the whole reason I came up with this. This is the only way. Please try to understand. I'll be careful. Okay. Even if I wasn't totally convinced, all I could do was nod my head and go along with his plan. Later, having finished discussing our plan, we immediately contacted Saya. So at this godly end, new every day, new beginning. Saya, worried about Koyo's safety, was initially opposed to it. But after Koyo persuaded him, Saya reluctantly agreed to keep the security at a distance. And then, as the sun set and night fell... Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap this part up here, and we'll continue and probably get our end in the next part. It might be a little bit shorter. I'm not really sure. If it's really short and we get it in 10 minutes, I'll just edit the parts together. But otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.